Hi, hello. Welcome back to our cozy corner of the internet. Today is a very dreary February day here in Philadelphia. It is nothing but clouds and rain. So please come in, get cozy, grab yourself a hot drink. Today we are going to be talking about Book of the Month. Is it worth it? Should you join Book of the Month? This video is completely unsponsored. I have been a Book of the Month member since December of 2022, and I am here to tell you that I think it is absolutely worth it. But I want to talk a little bit more about my own journey with Book of the Month, the books I have read, what I still have on my shelf to read, and some of my favorite books that I've gotten from Book of the Month. So I first joined in December of 2022. There was a $5 promotion from the Book Leo, and I jumped right on that to get one of my favorite Christmas books that I've ever read. It is a queer Christmas rom-com, and that was my first book I ever received for $5. Book of the Month is a monthly book subscription service that comes every month unless you want to skip if you so choose. Every month you receive one of these blue boxes in the mail, and I have to say I am always excited when it's Book of the Month day. When you first start, you are just like a friend member, and it is $18.50 every month for a hardcover book. You can choose from the monthly selection. There are always a lot of different genres to choose from, anywhere from 5 to 7 books each month. And if none of those speak to you, you can also choose from the member favorites section at the bottom. And again, if nothing is speaking to you from the member favorites or the monthly pick, you can skip the month. And your credit for that month will just roll over into the next month. Once you have 12 boxes delivered, you become a BFF. And once you are a BFF, your price per book drops to $16.99. And you also get some really great benefits when you become a BFF. First, you get a tote bag with your BFF box, and you also get a few free books throughout the year. So you get a Book of the Year finalist for free. So that will be in my March box. I will get to pick one of the finalists. And for your birthday, you also get a free book. So those months you get 2 books for the price of 1. So since joining Book of the Month, I have received 20 boxes with a total of 25 books. Of those 25, I have read 21 of them. So I think it's safe to say you know that I am a Book of the Month fan. And I do think that this is a really great way to discover new and upcoming authors or new literature that's coming out every month. Every now and then there are some early releases, so you get to be the first one to experience a book, which is always very fun. I want to talk about some of my favorite books that I've received from Book of the Month. Some of these I have talked about on my channel already, but I'd also like to highlight a few others that I maybe read in 2023 or early 2024 that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't, and let's just dive right into it. So I have my little stack up here. We're just gonna bring this down. So I just want to talk about a few. I'm not going to talk about all 25 books I've received. I will admit in my early days there were some misses, and I did donate one book that I really didn't like to the Little Free Library, which you can see in my other video talking about unhauling books to my Little Free Library. So let's start with the very first book I ever got from Book of the Month, and that is Kiss Her Once for Me. This is by Allison Cochran, and this is a queer Christmas rom-com. It was so much fun. This book actually got my friend back into reading as well, and she has since become a Book of the Month member as well. Okay, another fiction, I'll talk about fiction first, and then we can talk about some of the nonfiction selections I've gotten. So Book of the Month primarily focuses on fiction, but they do also carry memoirs. Every now and then there will be a memoir that pops up, and I will say the ones that I've gotten through Book of the Month have been really great. So another novel I really enjoyed from Book of the Month was Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. This is a family saga where they are trying to uncover the mystery of what happened to their father. This book was just like very atmospheric. It was fast moving and so interesting. I really, really enjoyed this book, and I definitely would recommend it to anyone who enjoys that like atmospheric family saga. There's a mystery to solve. It was definitely not quite what I expected, but overall, like, this book was very, very good. I read this last year, so I don't remember all of the details, but I do know that I gave this maybe a 4-star. So Happiness Falls by Angie Kim was definitely a hit from my Book of the Month boxes. Another book that I absolutely loved and devoured was As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. This one is a young adult book, and it is by Zulfa Katu. This is about the Syrian war. So we follow this woman who is working in a hospital amid the Syrian war, and she has this like dark being that comes and visits her at night. We follow her through her trauma and deciding if she wants to leave Syria or stay in Syria. There's a lot of references to Ghibli movies in here. But this book, it really, I remember like getting teary-eyed a few times. This book really tugged at my heart a lot. And again, it is young adult, so it's not going to be as like graphic or gruesome as an adult novel, which I think for the topic was a great introduction for me. But I definitely do recommend As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow if you are interested in some literary fiction taking place overseas in a war-torn country, and just this magical realism element of this dark being who comes to visit her. So the being who visits her is the physical manifestation of her PTSD cough. And yes, this book was just, it was really good, and there were some twists in here that I really didn't see coming that just kind of broke my heart over and over and over again. The next 2 books I've already talked about on this channel, so I am going to keep it brief, and that is The Teller of Small Fortunes. This, again, is just a hug in a book. We follow our main character as she travels throughout the land with her cart, her cat, her donkey or mule, and she tells small fortunes. So no big fortunes, only small fortunes. And along the way, she gathers up a ragtag team of characters, and they go on a quest to find one of the characters' missing daughters. And finally, a book that I have gushed over on this channel again and again is Homeseeking. This was an early release in December. This book came out last month in January of 2025. This is by Carissa Chen. It is a very long book, and honestly, my favorite book I've read in a long time. It follows 2 characters, one moving forward in time and one moving backwards in time through 6 decades after the Chinese Civil War, and the life events that eventually bring these 2 childhood friends back together in their adult years. I have 2 more books to talk about. The first one, I'm sure if you are watching BookTube, you have probably heard of, and that is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is the lead singer of Japanese Breakfast, and this is her memoir of coping with the death of her mother and the relationship that she had with her. This book is, it doesn't say when they first released it, but I ended up buying this on Book of the Month because I had put this on hold at the library, and there were like 600 people ahead of me, and I was just really tired of waiting to read it because every time it was available, like, I was busy and I didn't have time to check it out, and I really just wanted to read it. So when I saw it was on Book of the Month, I decided, why not? I'm gonna add this to my box, have a nice little hardcover version of Crying in H Mart, and I will say that this book will leave you crying wherever you are reading it. And if you haven't cried enough another wonderful memoir. This is from March of 2024, and this book made me sob like a baby. And that is Hereafter by Amy Lynn. So this is her memoir of coping with the random death of her husband. He is in his 30s. He is training for a marathon. He goes out for a run and he has a heart attack. And he dies very young. So if there is one thing about me, if there is a dead husband, I will read it because I love to torture myself, and I will sob the whole time because I will imagine that my husband, who is 32, will die in the next near future. So I just spiral myself into a hole of, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do if my husband dies? So, maybe that's not for everyone. Maybe not everyone wants to feel that doom and gloom sitting on them. But, there's just something so beautiful and so poignant about these two memoirs dealing with death. But for me, I personally just have like a much stronger connection to this one, to Hereafter. It hits home for me a lot more, and I just sobbed. Just the whole time I was reading this, I just couldn't stop crying. And it is like a very fast read. The chapters are very short, but yes, this book just broke my heart. So those are just some of the books I wanted to highlight from my own book of the month journey. I have 4 books left that I haven't read yet, and that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, New Americans, The Bones Beneath My Skin, and oh my goodness, what is it? Oh, Peach Blossom Spring. So most of those are newer books that I've just picked up from Book of the Month. And I am working on making my way through those. Peach Blossom Spring is going to be a March book for me as the flowers start to bloom again. And the others, well, we will just see where they fall. I might actually be starting this Bones Beneath My Skin. Is that what it's called? Yes, The Bones Beneath My Skin later today. So thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave a comment or subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. And I'm so grateful for everyone who has been watching my videos, leaving comments, all the little thumbs up. They always bring a big smile to my face. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!